time to be a hero. Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Coming to you from Clint's Comics here in Monroe, Louisiana, as I do every week. And as y'all can see, I'm wearing a teal colored polo, and also check out the this ribbon in the back of it. Now, the theme for it is PCOS, or Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. This month is Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome Awareness Month, and I wanted to pay tribute to just about anyone who may be living with this. Now, Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome affects 1 to 10 to 1 to 20 women in the world, and some of the symptoms, some of the things that can happen with it is a woman. It could affect a person. Like the blood vessels in a woman, the heart, the inability to carry a child. I mean, just all of that. And if you're watching this, if there's anyone watching this and you are suffering from it, just hang in there. Because one thing I also learned, there isn't a known cure for it, but there isn't a known cure for it now. But I can guarantee you that there's going to be a cure for it in the near future. I mean, nothing lasts forever, especially PCOS. All right, so I got to ask, any questions? Yeah, Freebird! Woohoo! Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, this first, actually, I have 2 questions for this week, and they're both from the same person. The first question, they're both from Courtney Emerson from Arlington, Texas. The first question he asks, do you think superhero titles are mantles that should be passed down to characters such as Dick Grayson becoming Batman and the Falcon becoming Captain America? Or do you think the original characters should stay original? Well, Courtney, that all depends. Like, with Batman, it's worked. Well, for the most part, it's worked. The only character that I really didn't like being Batman was Azrael. Now, for all of y'all don't know, Azrael became Batman after Bruce Wayne got his back broken by Bane, or should I say, Bane. And this was a little over 20 years ago. And when Batman even saw his new suit, he thought, "You have got to be kidding me." And I mean, he was. But when Dick Grayson was Batman, he did the mantle of Batman a lot of justice. Now, Bruce Wayne may not have admitted to it, but he's been grooming Dick Grayson to becoming Batman ever since Dick Grayson took on the mantle of Robin. And it worked. It worked until the day Bruce Wayne came back from the dead. See, a lot of you may be wondering, okay, how did he die? Well, he didn't actually die. He was in the miniseries called Final Crisis. He was actually hit. He was actually he was actually hit in the head with. He was actually killed. Well, seemingly killed by Darkseid with the Omega Beam. Now, the Omega Beam usually disintegrates its. It usually disintegrates anything that Darkseid hits it with. However, it sent him back in time. I'm talking about back to the Stone Age. And then he ended up going from the Stone Age to the medieval times, from the medieval times to early America, and then the westerns, and then the pre-Great Depression, all the way to the present day DC universe. And that's how. And he's been Batman ever since. Now, with Sam Wilson being Captain America, it somewhat works. Now, I'm saying that with conviction because, keep in mind, Sam Wilson just took on the mantle of Captain America not too long ago. I think it was at the end of last year, when after Captain America had all the super soldier serum siphoned from his DNA by the Iron Nail. Well, then there's something that it hasn't really worked out for. I think Bucky was an okay Captain America. He was pretty much Captain America, but he used a gun more than he used guns more than he used the shield, and he had a cybernetic arm. Now there are some characters like Superman. No one has really taken on the mantle of Superman. Because, and I think DC wants to keep it that way because they're afraid if somebody else takes the mantle of Superman or the Clark Kent, fans are going to be screaming bloody murder. However, in the DC 1 million books that came out in the late 90s, there was a character that went by the name of Superman Secundus. Now, as to who that might have been, I really don't know. It might have been Superboy who took on the mantle. It might have been from an alternate timeline. It might have been Lois and Clark's son, Jonathan Samuel Kent, that took on the mantle. But one person that took. Now, with that in mind, there's going to be a new Wolverine in the all different Marvel universe. It's going to be X-23. Who, now for those of you who don't know, X-23 was a character who was who first appeared, who was actually created for the show X-Men Evolution, back when it came on Saturday mornings. And the character, Marvel thought the character was so fascinating that they brought her to mainstream Marvel, and she made her debut about 10 years ago. In the pages of Uncanny X-Men. I mean, but now, but X-23, whose name now, whose alter ego is now Laura Kinney. She was actually given an alter ego by Wolverine. It's Laura Kinney, or she picked one herself. She is X-23 no more. She will be Wolverine, and she's going to have her own book called The All New Wolverine. And she's going to be in the book, in the second volume of the All New X-Men, alongside characters like Cyclops, Iceman, Beast, and Angel. But yeah, it works for some. But I'm trying to think of a character it didn't really work out for, because there have been really 3 characters that have been Batman, a whole bunch of characters who have been Robin. As a matter of fact, it's been Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, and Damian Wayne. The latter being the current Robin. The only character that didn't really work out as Robin was Stephanie Brown. Okay, but this next question, which is also from Courtney Emerson, why don't they ever show my boy Cyclops any love? Oh, Courtney, you're going to be so mad when I tell you what happens to Cyclops. And when I mean Cyclops, I mean the original Cyclops, not the Cyclops that first appeared in All New X-Men. Okay. The reason being, and to tell this, I would have to go all the way back to about 9 years ago. There was this miniseries that Marvel came out with called House of M. Now, in this miniseries, the Marvel Universe gets altered by the Scarlet Witch, who is under the influence of both Magneto and Quicksilver. It gets altered to the point where humans are the endangered species and mutants are the dominant species. And the sad part is, when she does this, no one remembers anything that happened before the spell was cast. Not even the Scarlet Witch. But the only person who remembered was this mutant named Layla Miller, who eventually becomes a member of X Factor, and she ends up not altering it back, but however using her powers to make everyone remember what reality was before the spell. And folks start snapping out of it. And the last person who she used on was the Scarlet Witch. And she altered things back, but with a price. When she cast a spell to set things back to where it was, to the way it was, she said 3 words: no more mutants. And all but 198 mutants in the Marvel Universe lost their powers, and Cyclops fortunately was one of them who did not. And he was a little upset, he was a little bothered by this. And so he ended up becoming more and more like Magneto, and instead of the Boy Scout that we always knew him to be. And then in this another miniseries called X-Men Schism, the Xavier Institute for Higher the Xavier Institute for Higher Learning ended up being split in 2. There was those that were on Cyclops' side who believed that young mutants should be trained and put out on the battlefield, and then there's some on Wolverine's side that believed he believed that mutants should be that young mutants should live regular lives like normal humans do, and if they have to use their powers, well, so be it. And then all of a sudden he started this revolution. Okay, well, wait a minute, I skipped something. Okay, Avengers vs. X-Men 2012. He became one of 5 of the X-Men who became infected with the Phoenix Force. It even more impaired his judgment. He started, like, the world was a better place to live, but it didn't really sit well with a lot of Avengers. And then Cyclops became even more power hungry, and he even siphoned all the rest of the Phoenix Force all to himself. And he became Dark Phoenix, and he went off and killed Professor X. And with that, his powers became fractured. And he had to use this, instead of like the optic beams going straight out, they scattered out. And that's how they were until Secret Wars a few months ago. Secret Wars number, it was either 2 or 3. He gains control of the Phoenix Force again. But it was not enough, and he dies. So, however, the Cyclops the younger Cyclops from All New X-Men will remain in the Marvel Universe. And he is pretty much going to learn from the sins of his older self. So sorry, Courtney, the original Cyclops is dead, but the younger Cyclops still lives. All right, that's it for any questions. If you have any questions you want to ask me, contact info is down there. And Courtney, I want to thank you for both those questions. Now then, Bill Morgan, one of my fellow customers here at Clint's Comics, while I was doing the comic books I bought this week segment, last week in episode 81, had requested a DC versus Marvel segment. And as Keith Jackson would say, this one's a dandy. On the DC side, we have Swamp Thing. On the Marvel side, we have Groot. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call DC versus Marvel. Hulk smash! Welcome to DC versus Marvel. Today is Swamp Thing versus Groot. Swamp Thing possesses superhuman strength and durability, telepathic dominion over plant life, vegetation body granted shapeshifting and hyperelasticity, and is able to create new bodies out of plants. Groot possesses the ability to absorb wood to feed, rebuild self, enhance his strength to control trees, regeneration, and resistance to fire. Who will win? One thing is for certain, when this fight ends, a certain area of a specific continent is going to end up with more trees than they know what to do with. This fight begins with hand-to-hand combat. After realizing they both match each other in strength, they both resort to using their powers. Swamp Thing creates copies out of himself to attack Groot, but the latter grows up to 7 times his size and swats them away like gnats. They stare at each other, with both of them standing 2 millimeters from each other. Groot utters, "I am Groot." Swamp Thing replies, "Shut up. We're done here." This fight ends in a draw. That concludes this DC versus Marvel fight. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the DC versus Marvel fight. And, you know, with Swamp Thing and Groot fighting each other, we all kind of figured it was going to be a draw. But anyway, now it's time for Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics! Okay, only a few things to talk about in Comically Speaking. The first thing is tomorrow, September 26th, is Batman Day. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if Clint has anything planned for tomorrow for Batman Day. I don't think if he does, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it because I have to work tomorrow. But my advice to you is if you're going to come, is to go out to your local comic book store and celebrate Batman Day. Oh, and if you're watching this, you know. If you're watching this, it's already come and gone. But please let me know what you did. And with that in mind, I have a Tumblr account. I just started a Tumblr account. My family had suggested that maybe it would be best if I started my own blog. If I would start my own blog and then write about books that I read, then maybe I can attract more fans. And I have a Tumblr account. I've done about 5 blogs already. I just did another one last night after I read The Flash number 43. And so if y'all have time, just go on Tumblr. My username on Tumblr is Comic Hero BN. It's right there on the bottom of the screen. Just check me out. And this also should let everybody know that when it comes to reading comics, I'm not a slouch. I know my stuff. I know that might sound a little arrogant, but I'm just telling you like it is. Okay, and lastly, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is premiering next month. I am so excited about it because, get this, we see the debut of the Secret Warriors. Now, the Secret Warriors were a group of young people with superpowers who were led by Nick Fury. And they had their own book in Marvel. It lasted about 26, 27 issues. I collected every issue of that book, and it was amazing. And it just does my heart good to see that they're making their TV debut, their Marvel Studios debut. Now, will Nick Fury be part of it? I don't think he will, but we could see some. But we may see some of the characters. One character we'll see in particular is a character who's been on every episode of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. since the very first episode, and that's Daisy Johnson. Now, you're probably thinking, who in the heck is Daisy Johnson? Sky. Sky from Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is really Daisy Johnson. And we all know that in the cinematic, in the comics, Daisy Johnson also went by another name, Quake. And so, you know, because Daisy Johnson found out that she was, because she found out she ended up having powers in season 2, and now we're about to see Quake, and I am so excited about it. Okay, that's it for any questions. If you have any topics for any questions, as well as DC versus Marvel, contact info is down there. Alright, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
Alright, first up is Spider Island number 3. Now, I bought number 4. As y'all remember, I bought number 4, I think either last week or the week before. But I never read it because I realized I didn't have this one. But it's a great read. Now, Spider Island, for those of y'all who are watching this show for the first time, Spider Island is a miniseries within the Secret Wars miniseries, and in it, now keep in mind, in Secret Wars, the regular Marvel universe and the Ultimate Marvel universe collide in each other and form Battle World, and the whole world isn't the same. They're like different realms, and Spider Island, this is island that's like mainly New York, or what was New York, and on it, just about everyone is a mutant spider, and they were infected by the Spider Queen, all except for Venom, aka Flash Thompson, and he goes around and he tries to hide from them or stop the ones without necessarily killing any of them, and he finds out that the werewolf was infected by the spider virus, but only halfway. You see, the werewolf, he's human by day, wolf at night. So he's a mutant spider during the day, but a wolf by himself during the night. And he helps find a virus that Venom uses on some characters like Captain America, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and the Hulk. And let's just say that he doesn't cure them, but they're no longer under the control of the Spider Queen. And then at the end of number 2, Venom ends up finding Spider-Man, who had thought to have been dead. So this is a continuation from number 2. Next up is Green Lantern Lost Army number 4. Now I've read this, and this book is very good. It features several members of the Green Lantern Corps, not Hal Jordan, but John Stewart, Kilowog, Guy Gardner, Orisha Rab, and a few others. And then they end up being not only lost in space, but lost in time as well. And they end up encountering a younger version of a Guardian gone wrong that they went up against called Kronos, who eventually got killed by Hal Jordan. Well, they find a younger one of them. They also find along the way, they find this pyramid in which they can charge their rings. But they don't just become charged, they become supercharged. And then they encounter a younger version of Relic. And then they go up against these light pirates. And at the very end of number 3, one of the light pirates ended up siphoning all the power from Orisha Rab's ring, and she almost dies in the vacuum of space. Now, will she die? Will she live? We'll find out in number 4. Next up is Spider-Verse number 5. This is the conclusion to this miniseries within the Secret Wars miniseries. And in this one, certain Spider-Mans throughout the universe, as you can see, there's a Spider-Man from the Britain Corps, and then there's Spider-Woman, aka Spider-Gwen, who's really Gwen Stacy from an alternate timeline, and then the Spider-Man from India, and then the new Spider-Woman, and then Spider-Ham, everyone's favorite Spider-Man from the 80s, and then Spider-Man Noir. And they're going out and they're trying to stop Norman Osborn, who is now the mayor of New York City. All right, next up is The Flash number 44. Now this book is crazy good. Now, for those of y'all that have been following me on Tumblr, y'all seen the reviews that I've put on this book. I think this book is crazy good. My only complaint about it is the Flash's new costume. I think I like the one that he wore before the one he's wearing now a lot better. And excuse me. Professor Zoom goes throughout different parts in time and recruits these metahumans. He recruits an army of metahumans to take down the Flash, and they pretty much lie to him. These are actually good people. Keep in mind, these are good people, and Zoom is pretty much leading them to believe that the Flash is a bad guy and that he's going to destroy the world. And at last, when he finds his father, Dr. Henry Allen, who escaped from Iron Heights Prison in Central City. The Central City police come to arrest him and take him back, but along the way, this new army breaks him out of a paddy wagon, and then brings him to Zoom. And then the Flash tries to stop him, but along the way, one of them shows him where the ocean is. All right, next up is X-Men 92. Oh, and something else that I just found out about, speaking of X-Men 92. This book is so good. This is yet another segment in the DC versus. This is another miniseries within the Secret Wars miniseries, by the way. This book has been so good that Marvel is going to make it a monthly series. Now it's going to be because it's going to be called X-Men 92. It's going to be pretty much out of continuity with this all different Marvel universe. But it's going to be some fresh new stories with some of our favorite characters from some of our favorite X-Men from the 90s. Oh, and by the way, in this one, this is X-Force. By the way, this is all the members of X-Force back in the 90s, and they're out to stop the X-Men. And keep in mind, and you know it's going to be bad when you have both Bishop and Cable on the same team. Or as Teresa Merritt used to say on That's My Mama, it's about to be nostalgia time. Alright, next up is Extinction Agenda number 4. Now this is kind of an X Factor book. It's a miniseries within the Secret Wars miniseries. This is also very good. Some of the members of X Factor are Havoc, Richter, Wolfsbane, and Strong Guy. So some of our classic characters from the 90s and the 2000s. And this book, and also Wolverine. Wolverine is in it too, and this book is amazing. And then lastly, Captain Marvel and the Carol Corps number 4. Now this is also a tie-in to, well, yeah, pretty much a tie-in to Secret Wars. It's a miniseries within the Secret Wars miniseries, and it's pretty much the story of Carol Danvers being a fighter pilot, and she's leading a ragtag group of other fighter pilots, and they're pretty much out to well, shoot people down, kick butt, and take names. It's a great book, but in earlier issues they have encountered some member of the Thor Corps. Now in Secret Wars there's a Thor Corps. There's not just one Thor. There's like a whole slew of them, and one of their very own, Kit Carson, is now a Thor. Alright, that is 7 I bought, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 6,955. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. This is the next to last episode that I'll be doing in the month of September. I'm going to be doing episode 83 on Wednesday if I have anything to say about it. Now, usually, the past few weeks, I've had to do episodes on Fridays. And the reason being is because of my work schedule. But anyway, I just hope that anyone who's watching this, who, if you're a woman and you're suffering from PCOS, I just hope that my only hope is that you just hang in there. I mean, there might not be a cure for PCOS now, but I can guarantee you that there's going to be one real soon, because nothing lasts forever, especially nothing negative. In a few episodes, I think probably episode 85. Yeah, episode 85, we're going to have a very special announcement that it's going to have something to do with the show. No, the show is not getting canceled. I will not allow that to happen. I only said that I will stop doing this show when I am physically unable to, and I stand by that. No. The show is not getting canceled. But it has to do with the show, though, but it's not getting canceled. It's something very exciting. Only, I think 3 other people know about it, and they're not talking, and they all watch the show. Okay, again, if you have any questions for the any questions segment, DC versus Marvel fight request, topics for the commonly speaking segment, contact info is down there. And also also again, I'm on Tumblr now. So you'll be seeing a lot of, so anyone who's on Tumblr, or if you see Tumblr posts that I put on there, because all the Tumblr posts that I put that I have on here will go directly to Facebook and Twitter. You're going to be seeing a lot of blogs that I'm going to be posting, and all the blogs I'm going to be posting are mostly about books that I am reading. Just so y'all know for a fact that these books I buy, I actually do read them, and I take very good pride in doing so. All right, and T-shirts and polos too. All right, T-shirts for adults, they're $12, and for children they're $7. Now polos for adults they're 15, and for children they're 10. As a matter of fact, I'm actually making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shirts for some customers now, and a few of them have actually have a shirt now. But yeah. And also, if you're watching this, let me know what you did on Batman Day. That is on September 26th. That is already come and gone if you're watching this now, because today is Friday, which is the day before Batman Day. So let me know what you did, and if you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I won't be able to because I have to work tomorrow. But I've been a long time fan of Batman, and it just breaks my heart that I won't be able to. But anyway, I'm Victor Nutley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'm going to go ahead and pay for these books. I'll see you next week for episode 83. Oh, by the way, you probably heard me say that last week. I said episode 83. I meant episode 82, which is this episode. Charge it to my head, not to my heart. And I'll see you right here next week for episode 83 at Clint's Comics. So till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.